Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining me again on another Facts and Findings with Dr. Joshua Plant. This is just one of the 5 natural health revolution calls we have each and every day. Mondays, we learn about the power of nutrition, where we can find good, healthy foods, and the importance of supplementing from Dr. Vaughn Johnson. How to naturally beautify ourselves with Shelley McGuire each and every Tuesday. Of course, the Facts and Findings today on Wednesday. Then Thursday, we have Scott Johnson teaching us the power of essential oils and the Ameo difference and how Ameo is leading in both quality and efficacy of essential oils. And then, of course, on Friday, we've got the Friday Fit Fix with Nikki Johnson, who is an incredible trainer and an inspiration to us all as a mother who has found time and methods to incorporate that active lifestyle. Each week, we have this educational series as a way of quickly diving in, getting the information you're looking for, and using it throughout the day. This is an exciting time to where I'm sure just in a few months we're going to be rivaling those big nationally televised shows of natural health and wellness, and this Natural Health Revolution education series is going to take hold. So thank you for joining me this week. And before I begin, I want to put in a couple of plugs. 1, register for the Zija Summit. This is of utmost importance as we are unveiling some monumental products that are going to further stamp that Zija International is leading the natural health revolution. You see, we are absolutely moving into a new space that is exciting and is full of opportunities, and we have completely disrupted the way in which people are looking to not only nourish their bodies, but we'll also be unveiling some new things of how natural health and wellness can really help purify our bodies at an exceptionally high level. The products that we're unveiling are going to be demonstratable in a matter of minutes. Quick, night and day difference, as you will be able to see just how purifying these products will be. Now, I highly recommend that you come to this convention, over 70 breakout sessions, learning from industry experts on how to grow your business, how to benefit from the products, how to use these products. In fact, I will be speaking over an hour just on one product alone, giving you demonstrations of how this product works and how this is going to revolutionize the way in which we live our lives. So I'm looking forward to seeing each and every one of you at Summit. Now, one other thing, for those that are registered, don't be shy. You need to register also for that charitable 5K. All proceeds to that go to the Zija Miracle Foundation, a wonderful charity that is helping build orphanages, help with disaster relief, and even helping low-income families have Christmases. You see, the Zija Miracle Foundation is all about touching lives, and that Zija Miracle 5K is an important part of that. I'll be running. I think I'll be bringing up the tail. Jerem Dastrup, our Vice President of Sale, I'm sure will be setting the pace for all of us to keep up with. But I wanted to dive into today's topic real quick, and I don't want to take too much of your time. This is something we've all heard about. It's become somewhat of a buzzword. Gluten. What is this all about? What does it mean? And really, how can we live our lives in a way in which it's surrounding us everywhere? So let me just kind of summarize a little bit about what gluten is. Gluten is unique proteins that are found in wheat, barley, and a few other grains, primarily wheat. And what gluten is it's all these different proteins that kind of make it turn into dough, right? When you add flour and water together, it becomes sticky. What that stickiness is that's the gluten. Now, over the last 100 years, due to selective breeding, genetic modifications, and a variety of other things, the amount of gluten in our diets, the amount of gluten in our wheat has skyrocketed. We saw this predominantly in the 80s as there was selective breeding of wheat to enrich for the amount of gluten so that people could have the whiter, fluffier bread. And we are now realizing the damaging effects of this overabundance of gluten in our diet is having. For example, just one slice of bread contains nearly 5 grams of gluten. This gluten, at the smallest amounts, can actually instigate a huge inflammatory response in people. Now, there's 2 types of gluten intolerance that I want to talk about. The first is celiac disease. This is actually a genetic condition to where about 1% of the population is thought to have this. It may be more, and it largely goes unreported. But there are certain markers that people are unable to process that have unable to break down those gluten proteins. This causes intestinal discomfort. This is primarily also found in children under 2. And so a lot of times, as children may be cranky under 2 and can't articulate why they may be a little fussy, one thing to look for is, are they eating wheat, and do you correlate that fussiness with the abundance of gluten in their diet? Now, take for example a piece of bread which contains about 4.8 grams, 5 grams of gluten in it. Now, it's thought just about 30 years ago, or excuse me, 40 or 50 years ago, that same piece of bread would have had only about 2 grams of gluten in it. And if we go back further, even less. And so what has happened is we kind of look, then this brings up the second thing, which is just gluten intolerance. And it's thought about 6 to 10% of people suffer from this, and it's growing very rapidly. And the reason that this is growing very rapidly is because we're introducing more and more gluten into our diet. And so if we kind of look at the bell curve of life, right, the distribution of people, we have people that are very sensitive to gluten and people that are not sensitive to gluten. But the problem is, as we introduce more and more gluten to our diet, more and more people are having challenges with this gluten that otherwise would not have had challenges. Now, this gluten intolerance, which, as I said, affects up to 6 to 10% of people, doesn't manifest itself as drastic as those with celiac disease of exceptional intestinal discomfort, inability to absorb nutrients, challenges with digestive issues. But gluten intolerance itself introduces a wide spectrum of other challenges. And it's largely goes unmanifested, and it's not until people change their diets that they can remove these symptoms. It could be anything from headaches. How often are you sitting here thinking that you may be having a headache due to hormonal challenges, or you may be having a headache due to loud music, or maybe not drinking enough water, when in actuality many of the headaches may be attributed to an intolerance to gluten. Additionally, you may see challenges with things such as fibromyalgia have been linked to this. Challenges with sleeping is another sign of gluten intolerance. And the list goes on and on of all of these other side effects that we never really attributed to our diets. And so what we need to do is psychotic episodes, neurological developments, all of these things have been correlated to some aspect to gluten intolerance. Now, gluten is found everywhere. So, for example, and I'm a little embarrassed to admit this, I just went to a vending machine here and found, and I spent the $5, $6 and just randomly bought some different things. And we see these things that have gluten in them. And a lot of times you may think, oh, it doesn't have gluten. Look at whole corn. But the problem is, as you go further down the list, you will also see something called whole oat flour. That itself will contain gluten. Pretzels, obviously, just an abundance of gluten. Goldfish, first ingredient, unbleached enriched wheat. Horrible, horrible ingredient to have in your diet. Not only is the enriched flour or enriched wheat containing synthetic nutrients in it, but it is also an abundance of gluten. And you find here, it doesn't say anything about flour anywhere or wheat. But what you also will see is a variety of other things, such as like maltodextrin and artificial flavors. A lot of times those are derived from wheat derivatives and will contain gluten in them as well. So even though this is corn, you will find that other synthetic components are derived from the gluten of wheat. Now, as I'm saying this, you sit here and you're thinking, tortillas, breads, my life is horrible. Well, due to the amount of people that are suffering from gluten intolerance, there's a variety of things. For example, here is an example of tortillas made out of rice. You can live, you just live a life that is fun and exciting and full of food. You just have to change your diets a little bit, and you can see drastic improvements from headaches, as I said before, sleeping better, less aches and pains throughout the day, better intestines. Now, I'm also proud to say that each and every one of Zejus products are gluten-free. This is an incredible achievement that we have taken very seriously. We'll actually analyze this, and we will get parts per million resolution to identify even the smallest amount of trace gluten in here, something that may be coming from maybe a facility that uses gluten somewhere in our supply chain, just to ensure that there's no gluten ever carried over. And we analyze these and are proud to announce that each and every one of Zejus products are gluten-free. But I also want to talk a little bit about products that can help aid in the digestion of individuals that may be on that border of gluten intolerance. One of the things I want to talk about is Smart Mix, which contains prebiotics that help nourish the intestinal flora. These intestinal flora aid in the breakdown and digestion of such things as gluten and other proteins. You want to make sure that those are properly nourished, and people have seen tremendous results using Zejus Smart Mix. Simply take 1 sachet, mix with 8 to 18 ounces of water, shake and drink, preferably in the morning. And there may be a couple of weeks where you have a little bit of intestinal discomfort, some gas, so to speak, but what that is you're actually increasing the amount of intestinal bacteria to levels that can help break down those gluten and other proteins. One of the things that I also want to talk about is when you're kind of craving those treats that may have some gluten in them, you know, the pastries, the breads, and the tortillas, or anything you may see in a vending machine, use the plant protein. Just simply mix with water, almond milk, and you've got a great alternative, a great snack that is enriched in an abundance of protein, contains great fats, and is also sugar-free, giving you the ability to lower your glycemic index, lose weight, and also get that treat that you're looking for. And then finally, the thing that I want to talk about is AGX Digest. This is an essential oil blend that was formulated using epigenetic technology to where we were able to look at what genes essential oils turn on and off, and we were then able to create a blend of these oils called AGX Digest. We looked at a variety of different enzymes that essential oils turned on and off. For example, lactase, which helps break down lactose, the sugar in milk, and a variety of others, including peptidase, which is an enzyme that breaks down proteins. And as I said before, gluten is a protein, is a combination of different proteins found in breads. And so you may be able to also see great results using the AGX Digest. Simply take a capsule in the morning and in the evening, and you can help, hopefully help lessen those challenges that you are seeing with gluten intolerance. And again, thank you for joining me on this week, and I hope for those individuals that are struggling with gluten, I hope that you can find alternatives, change your diet, and supplement to help you get that what you're looking for. And for those individuals that may have been suffering from headaches or aches and pains and unable to find what may be leading to those, maybe try a couple weeks without any gluten in your diet and see if you can begin that transformation. Thank you, and I'll look forward to seeing you next week.